All right, guys, better late than never. So, actually, just messing around with some stuff here. So, we are all good. Hold on. So, guys, it is Friday night. We are on Flip with Rick, and my name is Rick. I am the Rick in Flip with Rick. And tonight, it's not tonight. This evening, we are going to talk all about secret lists and the list you guys are not even really thinking about. So, we're going to go a little bit outside the box. And the only way I've compiled these lists is through a ton of experience. And now, some of these lists you've heard of before, for full disclosure, but I'm telling you, I'm going to share with stuff like you probably never heard of. So, my whole purpose of these streams is, number one, get you guys excited about wholesaling and understanding people make it so boring and like crazy. And the fact that if people make it boring and just slow and expensive, I'm going to do the complete opposite. Make it exciting, fast paced, and most importantly, free, because I'm tired of people telling you have to have skin in the game to make this work. I didn't, my son didn't, and God knows a lot of you on here haven't, and you've proven it time and time over again. So, guys, do me a favor. As people come in on the live, introduce yourself on the comments. Let me know what market you're in. And these are some of the most wonderful people you'll ever meet. They come back. They want to learn. Honestly, guys, and if you want to learn from me and Zach, this is the best place to do it. I'm here to teach you wholesaling, to get you to your first deal and your first 100 grand 100% for free. If you think you have to pay a guru to figure this out, you're wrong. I'm just telling you. I've paid so many. Most of them don't understand the fundamentals of wholesaling, and most gurus are so far removed from wholesaling, they're just coaching. And when I mean they're just coaching, they're coaching you, they're flipping you, and I want to change all that. If my idea is to put 6 figures in your bank account, and then you can make some decisions on which way you want to go with your business. But I teach this differently. I am about instruction and taking massive amounts of action and getting you fired up and showing you deals that we do in our current business. We've had a phenomenal week this week. And guys, the opportunities are actually, I think they're getting better every week. So you guys kind of let me know in your market. So if you want to put your comments in there, that's great. Also, the one-on-one lives, I pinned it on the front comment. It's on a first come, first serve, or you go to Wholesale Houses for Real, one of the actual largest Facebook wholesaling group that is active. And you guys know I'm active. A lot of old stale groups out there that they're just trying to pitch you courses. We don't do that, and we swap it out, man. I love the activity in the feed today. So if you have a question, put it in the comment. I talk about anything wholesaling, okay? I don't care if you've never done a deal before, if you've done 10,000. Let's talk. This world needs to connect better. I'm tired of everybody being a robot. Let's fix this. If you want to do deals with me and Zach, I'll share how to do that. I want you to do deals in your market. I want you to do it virtually. I don't care, man. The main thing is to get this sucker started. So, guys, on the one-on-ones, after I do my little teaching section, which is going to be a little bit shorter today because I kind of felt like we ran over yesterday, and I want to help out, man. I really want to like fire up and get into people and help them. But here's the key, dude. When you guys come on the one-on-ones, I have a no complaining policy. Let's take actionable, measurable steps that can help you get to your first deal, your first 100 grand. Coming on here and saying, oh, I made 3,000 phone calls and I want to quit, then just quit. Like, I'm not here to mentally support you, okay? I can get in your head and tell you what the problem is. The question is, are you willing to fix it and get it going? So if you like this information, please give me a thumbs up. Share this feed with anyone that you think would get a benefit from it. And guys, I love wholesaling. I'm going on 21 years. I don't know how many people you know that have spent 21 years in the wholesaling business. Honestly, I know about 7 people across the country. That's how elite it is. And when I say like active for 20 years plus, I promise you will not find a lot of them. Most of them are self-made millionaires and are internet self-made millionaires since 2013, and most of them don't wholesale anymore. Most of them just coach. So if you guys want to do that, you're not going to get this in the show. I don't give a seminar and teach on how to coaching and how to maximize students. you guys know where to go to get that. So that being said, make sure you guys, for God's sakes, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Like, obviously we have more than one channel. I have the Rick Ginn channel. We got the Zach Ginn. We collaborate on this channel, which you guys love, which is great. But what we try to do is compartmentalize some of the information that's exclusive to my channel compared to my son's. So you guys can watch the stuff you want. If you don't like watching the old man, then go watch Zach. I'm fine with that. If you like the wisdom I bring, then fine, watch me. If you like us kind of like father, son, sometimes me and Zach battle. We have a lot of fun because life's short. And if you don't grab it by the horn and have fun with it, and if God forbid, if you ever have the ability to do this business with a family member like you really love, embrace it and have fun with it. Okay. So I run a small family business. I run a lean ship, 7-figure wholesaling operation. And I try to share tips and techniques we use in our current business. I share my frustrations, my victories, my joys, my failures, and me and my son lay it all out on here. And for some crazy reason, we do the whole thing free. So if you don't know why we do it free, then watch. I'll show you why we do that free. If you like what you see, smash that like button. It helps other people just like you that are struggling, trying to find good content, that don't want to pay a guru $10K for very, very little knowledge. So that being said, I always told you, if you don't have fun wholesaling, you are in the wrong place. Guys, let's get it up. Fire it up. Let's do it.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Okay, guys. So if you just absorbed that video, you didn't get hacked. So that is a fun introduction that we are authorized to use. And it kind of sums up how I feel about wholesaling. So I'm a little bit ADHD. If you guys can resonate with you, you're in the right place. So if you've never heard of wholesaling before, is it your first introduction? Honestly, it's the greatest thing I found in my life that has impacted my family, how I operate, how I treat my health, how I treat people around me, how I treat my business partners and everybody I love in this business. And obviously my friends and most likely you guys. So I did the 9-to-5 job. I went to college. I did everything I was told to do and I failed miserably at it. And at the ripe old age of 33, I decided to make a massive change. And I took a risk with wholesaling. Everybody told me I was nuts. And here I am 20 years later. And somewhat the godfather of wholesaling. I love this business. So the one thing is, if you ever want to work with someone, make sure they are super passionate about what they do. I find a lot of people are in wholesaling, or at least coaching wholesaling. They're doing it just for the love of money. And the love of money will not keep you here. You will not keep you here 20 years. The good news is you don't have to wholesale forever if you don't want to. This is not a life sentence. This is a 2-year sentence. And if you're really good at it, you can be free and do whatever you truly want. But honestly, why would you ever leave wholesaling? So what I'm going to do is we are going to walk through the list, and I'm not going to do it in any particular order. And if you guys give me permission, I'm going to handwrite it because it's kind of faster. So what I'm going to try to do is the lists that are a little bit more common, I'm going to go over quickly. And the ones that you've never really know how to expand on, I'm going to go in those in a little bit more depth. So let me add, I think it should be on the screen there. And let's go from here. So let me get my coffee. I promise I won't spill it today. I am solo in the studio. So if we have a techno problem, I'm a dead man. But honestly, it's how it usually is. So, okay. So let's talk about the secret list. So I'm going to do the basic ones that aren't so secret that you guys like just brush over. So first and foremost, okay, I'm not making fun of this list. I just want you to understand this list in this current market environment we're in. You guys have got to understand it is absolutely golden right now. Okay. Homeowners are struggling to sell their houses. Realtors don't have answers for them, and time is ticking. And as the days on market, which we call the DOM, go up, okay, and then the price goes down, guess what? The motivation is going to shoot way up. Keep in mind, all these houses on the market, number one, they all want to sell. Number two, the longer they sit, the more frustrated they get. And number three, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So if you call 300 FSBOs, I'm not going to guarantee you, but I'm pretty much going to give you an idea. You call 300, I promise you, you're going to find 2 or 3 that want to work with you. It's a numbers game, guys. That's it. So many of you just want to call like 5 or 6 and get it. I want that too. But the reality is, if you're going to do FSBOs, it's a numbers game. It works really well. I got to be honest with you, in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been okay. But you are in a buyer's market right now. There are more people selling a home than there are buying it, and you should take full advantage of it, okay? I'm going to go through that one quickly because you guys already know about that one. The next one. And I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it works, okay? Lawyers have a lot of pull in the real estate industry, specifically real estate lawyers, specifically probate lawyers, okay? So I want you to understand this is much more of a networking event, okay? You cannot cold call realtors. I'm not realtors, attorneys. You're never going to get through. It's just a waste of time, and honestly, it's just going to burn your relationship. So whenever you have a closing or you're at a title company or there's ever a lawyer involved there, that is the time to introduce yourself, let them know what you do, and let them know the services you offer. You cannot cold call. Please don't give this to a VA. It will not work. Time will get you connections that are unbelievable. I work with about 4 rock solid attorneys in my local market here, and each one of them feed me at least 2 to 3 deals a year. Do the math on that. Guys, I put in 20 years to make those relationships. I didn't do it in 2 weeks, okay? On average, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to crack that code, but it is well worth it, okay? So don't overlook that. So these are kind of the easy ones. So let's start digging in and start having fun with it. The last kind of obvious one, but I'm giving you a little bit twist, is realtors. And so many of you guys that think realtors are like the kiss of death. And for the most part, they are in wholesaling. Let's just say it like it is. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. But when we get challenging times like this in a buyer's market, meaning there's more buyers than there are, there's more sellers than there are buyers, realtors are now open to you, okay? You can't go in and say, I'm a wholesaler. You can't do that. Hey, listen, I buy properties for cash. If you ever come across a house that's not in good shape or needs repairs, let me know, and I'm happy to pay your full commission. All realtors want to know is they are going to get paid and you'll close. Okay, we'll work on the closing part, okay? But if you speak with them from the point of, I'm going to get you paid, I'm not going to cut you out, and I'm going to close, then they'll listen to you. If you do anything else, it is not. So Thomas asked, hey, Rick, are you really live? Of course I'm live. Everything I do is live. I don't hide behind any type of prompter or anything like that. I'm just shooting from the hip talking to you guys. So if you want me to prove it, it's Friday, 5:20 Eastern Standard Time. What is it? The 28th. Okay. We're live. Okay. So those are the obvious ones. So I just want you to understand, when it comes to FSBOs, it is a numbers game. People are much more open to talk to you right now because they're not getting nearly the action. Look for days on markets that are up 60 to 100 days plus. Look for multiple price reductions. And then once you get those two, the motivation usually scales up really quick, because people sell houses for a reason. Why? Because they want to get rid of the headache, or they want to get rid of the payment, or they need the money to do something else. So Hold on. Let me fix the spammers. There you go. Enjoy yourself. So I appreciate you. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it. I got a long way to go to be a legend. I'm somewhat of a humble person because I've done the struggle, guys. I promise you. So with lawyers, stop trying to cold call them. Do not outsource that task. You have to do it. Connect through your title companies, connect through any type of closings you have, and do an introduction and just do a meet and greet and work with it over time. It is well worth the investment because when a lawyer tells you to buy a probate, they are giving you the ones that they can't move with normal realtors. So I want you to understand. And then realtors, guys, they are wide open to talk to us right now. I have talked to 3 realtors this week that I haven't heard from in 4 years, and they want to help. Why? Because they can't move their inventory. And now, listen, I'll move your inventory, but it is going to be a significant discount. This is what I do. And eventually somebody always caves, guys. So you need to understand that. Okay, so let's get to the fun stuff, okay? And then I'm going to get to these lives because I want to talk to as many people as I can today. Next one. And I shared this a couple weeks ago. You guys, now listen, your title companies are wonderful. They're really an integral part of your team. And I want you to understand, title companies are a plethora of information. My suggestion is you go long and deep with your relationships with your title company. Office parties, birthday parties, get to know the owner. If you're not at your title company's owner's house for like holidays, picnics, 4th of July, you're missing the boat, guys. Once you connect with the owner of a title company or its critical employees, as I call it, you can find out anything you want to know about anybody in the business. It's just, are they supposed to tell you? Most likely not. But the reality is they know who all the solid cash buyers are. They know who all the realtors are that mover shakers. Guess what? They're going to tell you the highest quality hard money lenders around. They're also going to tell you who your soft money lenders are. Guys, I get more information from a title company than I could get from any one of our data services. And I'm telling you, I am not making this up, guys. I spend a lot of time investing with title companies. It's all about time, and it's what you need to understand to make it work. So I want you to understand title companies, they deal with the buyers, they deal with the sellers, they deal with the landlords. You know how many landlords they sell and buy properties for? They deal with the financing. You ready for this? And they deal with the lawyers. Okay? It is an entire one-stop shop place to go. Okay? The problem is a lot of you guys try to take this down on day one. You've got to build relationships and get to know people. And I'm telling you, most people in a title company, they're overworked and they're underpaid, and they truly want to help you succeed. So this is how you get the best rates. This is how you get a deal on all your HUD fees. And once you know who the players are and they tell you is, they will give you an introduction that would take you years to get. So some of my best introductions and how I find a lot of up and coming new rock star wholesalers is the title companies bring them to me. They're like, hey, you got to meet Rick, dude. He's been doing this forever. You're going to love working with him. And then I say, hey, listen, why don't we work together? And we want to split a few deals. Some of them I stay with, some we part friends. And I could never do that without my title company. If you guys do not take advantage of your title company, you are seriously missing out on the boat here. Okay, so this one is absolutely huge, and I'm using it right now, and I'm having good success with you. I'm going to share more numbers with you, okay? Property management companies. Now, well, Rick, how is that a list? I promise you they have a list in there. So my average property management company is tied to a real estate broker. And the reason for it is because it's a lead center. It's a magnet. Okay. If people buy a property, you can manage here. And when you're done with it, they can sell it for you. It is perfect because they can basically have 3 different profit centers, which is great. I don't want to be a realtor, but what happens when you get, so my average, I have one over here ready for this. It's got 1,200 properties management. What percentage of those properties you think are a complete dump and a nightmare? Okay, you ready for this? 10 to 12% on average need help. I'm not kidding you. I've done the numbers. I made it up. So on average, that means there's at least 1,200 properties that I have a shot at buying. Guess what the key to working with property management company? You can't just go in, hey, give me your tire, give me your week, I'll buy it. You have to, they are realtors. So if they're realtors, they're all licensed. Okay. How do you talk to them? That's right. Let them know you want to pay them a full commission. And they will tell you, and by the way, most of them are the bottom line employees that are paid hourly. It's usually the nice young ladies in the front office. And they go, man, this guy's got 8 properties. He will not put a nickel into them. We can't keep a tenant in there. It's been vacant for 6 months. Hey, can I give you an offer? Is there any way you can try to push it through? And she's going to come back, Rick, I'll give you an offer. This is what he wants. He wants someone that'll close fast with like no hassles, all cash. I'm like, okay, I can do it. Get on a contract. We take a look at it. And we just make sure we pay their commission. Now, we pay the commissions. The seller doesn't pay it. I know that goes against the grain. But I'm telling you guys, there is a lot of deals in property management companies. You just got to find a way to access them. Now, you're not going to find them online. You can Google search and find the companies. What I like to do is reverse engineer property management companies and find them through their local real estate brokers and manage them like that. This is a local business. If you try to hire a national property management company, you're probably going to be wasting your time. Everybody knows good management is done at the local level. It is part of real estate. So property managers are absolutely key. So the next one, which is people just like, I don't understand this one. Bail bondsman. I think it's MAN. Okay. Now, I found this one by accident because I bought a property through a bail bondsman. And so understand a bail bonds, just to give you a quick crash course, somebody gets arrested, they get detained, and for them to get out, they've got to make bond. So for the court's assurances for them to come back, they usually in exchange of money, and then you got to show up to court and then you get your money back. That's the simple math of it. Depending on the degree of the crime you committed and how often you've committed, a judge will set bail. Now, most bails are pretty, $5,000 or less, which is not a big deal. But the reality is sometimes bonds are $10,000, $50,000 or $100,000. But most people who go to jail don't have money to pay these huge bail bonds. So a bail bondsman basically sells an insurance policy. They underwrite it and they assure you they're going to show up for court, and you pay a 10 to 12% premium. So if I had a $10,000 bond, I could pay $1,000 bond and then I could get out. And then plus they're going to get interest and stuff like that. If I don't show back up to court, what they do is the bigger bonds, if people don't have money, they'll secure it against a piece of real estate. And they'll only do it usually if they're in a high equity position, usually a first position, and they put a lien on the property. And until you square that up, they won't take the lien off. And then if something goes south and they can't pay it back, they have the ability to foreclose on the house. I'm telling you, bail bondsmen, you'd be shocked how much property these guys deal with. Now, these aren't your average people. Do not show up there at night. Do not be aggressive when you go there. This is like 10 to 3 o'clock operation, and you just got to spend time. Most bail bondsmen are passed down generation to generation. And it's within the family, and they just don't let strangers in overnight. So once again, you've heard the theme of these secret lists. You have to build relationships. Find your local bail bondsman. Just get to know them. Ask them if they have any properties. And in a market like this, in a buyer's market, a down market, they are more apt to sell properties or sell their liens and put you in a position where you can get a great deal on a property, because in the end, they just want to get paid and they want to pay their bonds back and they want to pay their employees. So keep that in mind. Okay. So I said, be smart about the bail bondsmen. Don't be super aggressive. Some of these have 100-year histories in the family. Like, it's really cool stories. So it took me 5 years to really connect with my local bail bonds because I was trying to underwrite a deal. We were doing a short sale way back in 2009, and that's how I found it. And by the way, all these I'm presenting to you, I found by accident. I didn't find them on purpose, and they're not taught commonly in wholesaling. Okay. So now we moved on to bail bondsmen. I'm going to change my color ink to keep you guys awake here. Okay. The next one, estate sales, or sometimes people call them estate companies. Okay. These are simply companies that most often advertise in old school type of newspapers, because older people still read newspapers. I kind of miss touching the newspaper. I'm not going to lie to you. But I've switched over to the digital age. I know I'm old. And these companies help families or individuals, particularly older people that have collected a bunch of junk, and they typically they need help cleaning it out. It's too overwhelming, especially in the hot summer or in the brutal parts of the winter. So they hire these companies to put on these estate sales. Most of the time when these estate sale companies are called out, they're looking at properties. They're not hoarder properties, but they're really crowded with a bunch of junk. And most of these people are prime to sell their property. Now, the estate company establishes first contact. And if you can strike a relationship with the estate sales companies, you can have a shot. Say, listen, you can have all the stuff you want in the house. I'll give you all the space and time. I just want to buy the real estate, and I'm happy to pay you a finder's fee to do it. 9 times out of 10, they're very happy to do it. Most estate sales companies, they don't want to deal with property at all. And the ones that do deal with it, they typically refer to real estate agents. So if you want to skip one of the barriers to entry to dealing with an estate sale company, go straight to them. The best place to do is, you can still find them online. Craigslist, there's a lot. Old school newspapers, or if you go in those old diners and like the advertising, like the Orange Gazelle or the Orange Blossom, whatever they call it. A lot of them are in there. Older people tend to read those, and they like to really do those. And I will tell you, I've got some of the best deals ever from a estate sales company. Remember, you want to focus on the real estate. Don't focus on the junk inside the house. It's nothing but a shiny distraction, and you're not going to make money selling furniture. I don't want you to run a thrift store. The money is always going to be in the real estate. If you do anything else, it's a distraction. How do I know this? Because I've sold cars, boats, RVs, campers. It's an incredible amount of energy. I don't want to do it. Okay. I don't do garage sales. I don't do any of that stuff. Which leads me to our next one. Garage sales. And I've talked about this before, but I want to go in a little bit more depth. Okay. Well, Rick, how the heck is a garage sale? Oh yeah. Okay. They're moving. No. You're looking for garage sales from absentee owners. Well, Rick, that doesn't make sense. Okay. What's an absentee owner? An absentee owner is a landlord. Occasionally it's a second home, but for the most part, they wind up being landlords. So when you have a landlord and there's a garage sale, and remember, the landlord doesn't live there, what do you think is happening? Think about this. Who's selling the junk to move out of the house? That's right. You guessed it. It's the tenant. Okay. So when tenants are doing what we call a midnight move out, how are you going to take advantage of a tenant moving out of a property that's advertised a garage sale? Okay. You are going to call the owner. Okay. So once you get a spreadsheet of garage sales, which you can find in Facebook groups, you can find online, Craigslist, whatever, even cities now, they issue permits for these things, if you can believe that or not, is skip trace, call the owner and just say, listen, do you have interest in selling the property? Now, if they don't, I'm going to pleasantly take that time, just like, listen, he goes, how'd you find my house? I actually drove by and there's a garage sale going on out front. And that's usually when the sticker shock is going to hit them. Like, so you just gave them valuable information on their tenant, because the tenant probably is going to trash the house. Tenants that do not tell their landlords they're moving out and having garage sales is a big surprise to them. And then whenever there's a change of residency or there is a damage to the property, you have a high probability of getting a deal. So what you can do is simply scrape your garage sales locally. I look for the absentee owners. If you want, you can look for like regular owners, but the problem is the regular owners, there's people who chronically do garage sales. If you can believe that or not, you'll see the same people every week have a garage sale. You want to avoid those people like the plague. You want that person that's looking to move fast. Now, for the record, I have gone to a garage sale and bought a house, but those aren't the typical ones that you're going to have success in. You're looking for ones where the renter is initiating the garage sale and you're reaching out to the absentee owner, aka landlord, and letting them know, hey, I really want to buy your house. No, I got a long-term tenant in there. I go, well, I drove by and there's a garage sale. That's why I wanted to reach out and talk to you. Can I take a look at the house? Everything's out of it. They look like all the furniture look like a mess. And that will open up a conversation to hopefully open up their motivation. And that should work out like really well. So kind of running out of space here, but we'll figure this out. The next one, trying to keep you guys awake here. I know stuff gets boring, but it's exciting as I can make it. Facebook groups. Now, this has been really kind of brought about in the last few years, but Facebook groups are a very, very powerful place to find people. You're going to find people with motivation. Now, here's the key is a lot of you guys think, okay, well, Facebook group, Rick, I already messed with the investor groups. That's the wrong place. That's why you're not having success there. So find Facebook groups of common interest of things you already a member of. If you're part of a fishing community, an RV community, a boating community, I don't care, a dog lover community. And just by simply posting in there, if anybody has interest in selling a home, I would love to talk to you because you already have a natural connection with that group. And you would be surprised how many people go out and do this. This is the so-called free hack that somebody was charging $3,000 for. We've been doing this since day one. Like, so nobody owns this. I think they called it like a zero marketing method. It's pointless. So I'm telling you, man, Jason, on the garage sales, I do it. I wrote, I have a detailed plan on actually how to do it with a VA and everything. And I might put in the course. It's a little bit more advanced, but all you are is regularly scraping the garage sales and basically seeing if you have an absentee owner, and then you're reaching out and contacting them. That's it. It takes a little bit of work to put the list together, but it works. And if you do it on a consistent basis, you are going to find opportunity on it. They are not your regular garage sale, guys. I got to let you know that. If you want to do all garage sales, you can do it. Just get rid of the chronic ones that are in between on it. Okay. So what you want to do is find hobby groups. Okay. And you want to do ones where you're established. Okay. So you guys know I love the fish. I love anything to do with MMA. I love football. And so I'd go in groups like that. Hey, just let anybody know if you ever want to sell your house, I'm a cash buyer. And the reason for doing that is, so guys, you just got to ignore the spammers that put this stuff in there. I think it's just so funny. But we block them after this when I do it. But as we get bigger, we have to deal with it. So find established groups. Once you're established there, there's a little bit of rapport there. Guys, realtors been doing this trick forever. You guys can do the same thing. Now, can you hire a VA to do this? Yeah, it's a little less authentic, but nobody can tell who's behind the screen because you have the ability to share your Facebook status if you want to bring other people in to work it. How do I know this? Because I've seen it happen to me. I'm telling you guys, this stuff happens all the time. So I'm going to share one more with you. I wasn't even going to give you this one, but I'm going to do it. Okay. This isn't so much of a list as more of a tactic, okay? And it's bird dog, or you can call it bird dogging, okay? I can tell you, dude, I make a fortune off bird dogging. I once created a software, and I just gave up on it because I've value my time, and I am a better real estate investor, wholesaler. I am not a software guy, so I invested a ton of money and I gave up on it, but I made a lot of money, and I still do to this day. A bird dog is someone who basically finds you a lead, okay? The best type of bird dogs, just so you know, number one by far are bartenders. Why? Because people go to a bar to tell you all their problems in life, okay? And what happens with problems? Problems lead to signs of motivation. Okay. Problems are their motivation. And if you know that up front, bartenders hear everything. Like bartenders have the key to anybody's head. Like, no, so don't get me wrong. Bartenders, if you are a bartender, like let me know in the comments here because you guys are much more than a mixologist. You have to deal with people's emotions. You got to deal with their money. And obviously, when they have too much to drink, they tell you a lot of things they should never even tell you. So it is important to understand bartenders are amazing. Some of my best sales reps have been previous bartenders. Okay. Used car sales goes without saying. They just know everybody. So find that person that knows everybody. You all have them in your community. There's some of your friends. They might be your family. They know everybody. Okay. I have bought at least 300 homes from people I know personally in wholesaling. Now, I've been doing this 20 years, but like it adds up over time, guys. And I'm here to tell you, you're overlooking some basic things. So here's a couple key things you got to understand with bird dogs. Their only job is to locate. The one thing they never do is negotiate. They are terrible at it. Okay? Do not let a bird dog negotiate. Just let them find you a deal. I have people to this day in my wholesaling community, locally where I am in Florida, that do not want to ever talk to a seller because it's very overwhelming to them. But they'll give me the lead, say, listen, I talked to her. She said she needs to sell it. She was going to call a realtor or one of those cash guys. And I told her that you're going to call her directly. And then what I do is I give them a finder's fee for it. Now, you can't pay them on the HUD because that's illegal unless they're licensed to sell real estate license. So, but you can give them a marketing fee. You can do whatever you want through your company. You just can't pay them on the HUD, guys. Okay. And if you go out and solicit a promise for payment, if I successfully close, you're most likely breaking a statute in your state, and you want to stop doing that if you're doing that. Okay. Ask me how I know. So it's really important that you understand how that works. So guys, I love bird dogs, and I would love for someone to put a piece of software together where you can pay them and like get them all going. And the problem with bird dogs is they do overwhelm you. And a lot of them want like free mentoring, and like, they don't want to like listen to anything you have to say. And you get a ton of phone calls and texts. So it's a little bit challenging, but if like you're good with that stuff, and with today's technology with Google and FaceTime and Facebook and everything, sharing docs, it's easier than ever. Go out and find a bunch of people that find you deals, and then offer them a reward if they can connect you with someone. Now, remember, it cannot be dependent on a sale because that's defined as a commission, but you can give them a marketing fee. I actually had people set up where I set the criteria for it. Now, I don't want them scraping on Craigslist. I'm looking for authentic, organic leads. And when you get them, then you can pay them a marketing fee. You can pay them $5 per lead. You can give them $20. It doesn't matter. You just can't tie it to the success of a deal unless you are licensed, because it creates problems for you. So I love bird dogs. Guys, I want you to think about bird dogs. And the bird dogs is you can put flyers up at colleges. You can put them up on like local community boards. It doesn't matter. If you guys, when I started out in wholesaling, you ready for this? I created a real estate investment group. And then I had hundreds of people come, and those were my bird dogs. So you guys could simply do a meetup group. Okay. This is a tactic a lot of people use, and it actually works, is you put out a meetup group. I think it costs $50, $100 to set it up, and you announce it, and you either do a lunch or you do something in the evening. Find a place that's free. You don't have to spend money to do this, and get people together and go, listen, here's what I'm looking for. And just teach them about driving for dollars. Okay. And then just teach them about ugly houses, and then teach them about motivated sellers. Guys, all these like I could go on forever on list. You are not limited by what people tell you. You're only limited by what you think. So you guys think you need all these resources. You technically don't. You just need to use your resourcefulness to find deals. Don't think like the average person. You're a wholesaler. You have to think above other people. And I'm not talking down about it. It's just, there is no book on, hey, you have to go here. When I started, I was told, well, you can only deal with high equity absentee owners. That's the only place you're going to get deals. That's how I was taught this business. Thank God I broke out of that mold, because I broke out of it very quickly. And I was told you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. And I kept questioning it. Same thing I did in school. I got diagnosed with ADHD, And honestly, it's paid off hugely for me. So I want you guys to do the same thing. So let me get this ugly thing off the screen here. And I appreciate you guys. Let me check out some comments here. Pete says, hey, Rick, what do you think a good EMD is? Honestly, you know, the truth is it's what you're comfortable with. Okay. I wouldn't do less than $100. I did $10 for the first 7 years I did this business. You know why? Because most motivated sellers don't care. The reason I don't do $10 and I don't even do $100 anymore is because people psychologically think that you don't have a real deal because they think it's such a small amount of money. And for that reason, my recommendation is like $250 or $500. Remember, it's just a deposit. You get it back. It's no big deal. And if you guys do an assignment of contract correctly, when you do your assignment, you can get your deposit back right there on spot. So a lot of times you get your assignment back the same week you wrote the contract. So good question on that. I had a couple others start up here. Let's see here. I started one here. Thomas says, the gurus. I'm with Rick. Like, dude, if I had 10 grand to spend on your program, why do I need your mentorship? The man. So listen, guys, understand when you pay for a guru for coaching and wholesaling, it's just a number. It's a made up number. How do they come up with a number? Do you know that coaching for wholesaling specifically has gone down every year since 2003, since I've been in the business? Why? Well, I know the dollar's worth a whole lot less. The problem is there's so many coaches competing for so few dollars that they're pricing each self out of the market. Guys, I've seen this handwriting on the wall since 2013. Guru City, everyone's a guru. Anyone who does 2 or 3 deals, they're going to teach you how to do it, and there's no way to vet them on the internet. So the best way, in my opinion, to vet people is look at the quality of the information they show. Number 2, make sure they're going to be around at least 10 years or longer. And number 3, make sure they are active in wholesaling today, not yesterday. And you go, well, I'm so much better than that right now. How are they going to teach you if you only flip $1 million mansions? Don't get me wrong. I love flipping $1 million properties. I don't teach you that tactic because it's a whole different skill set. Okay. Yes, wholesaling will help you find it, but then you got to figure out how to fund it, how to put all the repairs together, and how to time the market correctly. And honestly, I couldn't teach you that in a wholesaling course I wanted, and it wouldn't be responsible. So just understand that. So Keisha, I had to put it back up in there. She says, I'm a Marine and I love military people. One of my only regrets in life is I didn't go in the military. I wish I had a little more direction because as much as I'm a wild child on wholesaling, when I was young, I really loved structure. So I loved sporting programs. I loved football. I really, really love wrestling. And today I love combative sports because I think we all need to be challenged, men and women. I think we're getting too complacent in life. So God bless you. Thank you for your service. And anybody else who's in the military or was in the military, please just put it on there. And I'm going to put you out there. I will bend over backwards if you're in the military because I think it's a commendable thing to do. And I love people who serve. So I think the United States has the greatest military in the world. It's my opinion, but I love this country and we got a lot of things we got to fix. Don't get me wrong, but anyone who's willing to put on a uniform and fight for our right to be free, you are good in my book. I will never take money from a military person ever, period. So I think that's it. So that is it. I am going to jump on the lives. And I know I left some people out yesterday. I'm trying to see who I left off. And I already know one here. Oh, you there? Were you on yesterday? I think I left you hanging. Did I?
Yeah, but I didn't get on until
It's okay. So listen, I
was on YouTube first and then I went to StreamYard. So
that's all right. That's all right. I'm not the techno wizard. So what's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
So long story short, I like I said before, I've been like almost a year of the paralysis, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
Where I study, not do anything. It's been like a year almost. And I am kind of like an introvert a little bit, not as bad, but it takes me a while, and like to the point where I'm sweating, like when it comes to cold calling, like it takes me a lot. I have to like talk myself into it and like pump myself up and stuff. And because I will literally go into panic attack.
Okay.
But I finally, the other day, got to talk to somebody, built good rapport and everything. She sounded very nice. Her husband had cancer, very sweet. But then the original price was $295. I said $230. She said she had to talk to her husband. I said I had to talk to my partner, whatever.
Okay.
And she came back with $80, and I was like, ugh. And then I didn't even think about it. I don't know, because last time when I talked to her the first time, I was so excited because I got through a cold call. And so I didn't even think about the ARV or anything like that, because it's like the house is so bad, it's either vacant land or you have to tear down the house and rebuild it. It's that bad.
Okay.
So,
which
said,
market are you in, or which state?
And I was like, Washington State. And the home median price is in like 500, like $550 something $1,000. And the house is for $295. And so I didn't even think about the ARV, because I was thinking, because it's below 295, it's like right under 300K, and it's like a hard repairs. So from one of your videos, I was thinking maybe it was said 65 between 75,000 for repairs, and I didn't count that in. And so when she came back with 280 saying they couldn't do 200, I was like, oh, I didn't think, and I excuse my language, messed up, and said that, oh, I guess we can meet in the middle and do 260. And then I got really excited because it sounded like we'll do 260. And then I got all excited, and then I was like, oh, wait, I just screwed myself, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, listen.
After I calmed down from the excitement, because I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
So let's just take it. So let me step back here. So first of all, you said you're somewhat of an introvert. Why do you think that?
Yes.
So why do you think you're an introvert?
When you get to know me, I'm like, so
okay.
Maybe not an introvert. Maybe that wasn't right.
Okay. So you got to understand, a lot of people confuse. I don't think anyone's defined as an introvert or like an extrovert. Like it's like saying I'm a Democrat or like I'm a Republican. That's a terrible analogy, but I believe we're all like a little bit of a blend of something. Okay. For the record, my entire life before I did wholesaling, I didn't like talking to people. I always connected with people. So you're probably the type that just takes a while to warm up, right? Like if you go to a party, do you go out of your way to talk to everybody at the party, or do you wait for people to come up to you?
I'll go and talk to people because I know them already.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, making the cold call is the biggest thing, just to get it over with, and understanding, guys, no one's going to hurt you with a cold call. The only thing they can hurt, you ready for this? This is the truth, is your feelings. Okay. And you got to find a way to get an emotional disconnect, because it's who cares? Now, physically in person, it's a little bit different. It's tougher. I'll be the first to tell you. Okay. I started out knocking on doors, horrifying. But I figured I'm going to bite off, I'm just going to bite off the biggest piece I can. So going through the motions of getting over your anxiety of doing the cold calling is, first of all, that is a victory. Okay. You just have to repeat it and now make it a habit. Then you get to the point of qualifying people, and then you find someone who wants to work with you. And then what you're naturally going to do, and everybody goes through this, you're going to get super excited. Like, oh my God, I found someone. And then you lose all oh my God, I'll just take it. So now you've gotten up to that point. So now you've got to learn, when you get them on, you have just got to go through your qualifying questions. One of the biggest mistakes most rookies make, and I've made it too, is you assume, so say it had $50,000 or $100,000 of repair. You assume that discount's going to wind up going, of repair is going to wind up going in your pocket, or it's like a smoking deal. So a lot of times when you hear a low price point, you got to know what you're talking about. So it's simply doing the math. The beauty of technology these days, between ListREI.com, ZachData.com, between PropStream and Batch, in 2 seconds, if you have a 5-minute phone conversation with someone, you can plug in their address and figure out the rough value of their house really quick. I never had this luxury when I started.
Yeah.
I had to take a bunch of information. I had to drive over to a realtor's office, and I had to fight for days to get this. It's all at your fingertips now. Okay. So you don't have to take down every deal on the first phone call. So I want you to understand that and just say, listen, let me get some information. It sounds really interesting. And let me see the best number I come back to you. What is it you need to get for this property? They already gave you that number. You go do your research. Sometimes, a lot of times they're way off the block, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I want you to understand 9 out of 10 are going not to fit your criteria for wholesaling. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, this was a Zillow FSBO.
Yeah.
So,
So if you remember in the beginning of this live stream, I started with FSBOs, and I'm telling you guys, these FSBOs, I promise you the motivation is going to be shifting fast, because a lot of them have an unrealistic expectation of how fast the house is going to sell and what it's going to sell for. And I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time, guys. I'm watching my local market realtors, because that's all I can take feedback all over the country. They are struggling to move any decent properties. I mean, struggling. Anything at the median or below price is moving normally. The stuff above, the higher it goes, the worse it is. We have a lot of $1 million properties in Florida.
So the higher, we should go for higher than a little bit, or like kind of right below, not exactly the price it says, but maybe right below the price.
Listen, what's the one thing you need to get a good wholesaling deal, Nicole?
A low ball offer.
Well, that's the mechanics, but what
motivation.
Correct. If there's not motivation there, just move on. You guys are in the biggest number game play in the last 15 years, really 10, 15 years. So you've got to find the best deals out there, because you got a very sharp knife that's falling at a rapid pace. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to buy them cheap. The only way you can buy something cheap is they have to have a serious need to sell the house, not a want, a need. Once you understand it's the need and not the want, most people wind up spending their entire first year or two chasing the wanters. The wanters, you're literally wasting your time. They all need realtors. They need a realtor, or guess what? They need time. And it's like putting a child in timeout. Put them on the FSBO list, let them go 100 days on market, and let them do 2 price reductions. I promise you they're going to listen to you, Nicole. It doesn't still mean they're going to take your offer. But after a while, we call it market capitulation. It's a fancy word for I give up, I throw in the white flag, I am done. At some point, those people on FSBO will make an emotional decision, because they're either going to run out of money or they're going to run out of time. I've been on that list before, by the way, for full disclosure. A lot of you guys have been on it before. It's just you're in a market where FSBOs were selling in record time for the last 4 or 5 years. It's not happening anymore. The stuff at the median below is still getting good action, but if even slightly above, they're sitting forever. And I'm telling you, you need to just look for motivation. So I'm happy you're making cold calls and you're getting over it.
Yeah.
Understanding the worst thing they can do is just hurt your feelings. If they physically can't hurt you and you're not doing anything illegal, then it's just all up here. So you need to look at it as like a mechanic, and always be you have to be super nice to everybody on the phone. Even when they attack you, I'm sorry you feel that way, and you just kind of move forward. So now when you get to the next one, if you're looking at average prices at 500, someone goes, yeah, I'll take 290, 280. And you're like, oh my God, it's a deal. Go, hey, let me get some information on it. You can look at the ARV, or you can get back to them if you're not comfortable with it. Your job in that initial phone call is to reveal their true motivation. And if you can't get the true motivation, you can't get a good wholesale deal. And guess what? Price is not a motivating factor. It's not. You are not going to pay them the most. So if you're going to try to win on price, you'll never win on that one. You got to go find people that need to sell their house. And so you're graduating, you're just moving forward. Just push a little bit harder and faster. So now you make calls. Now you know the worst thing to do is hurt your feelings, and they're your feelings, and they're your choice if you let them hurt them.
I think you're right. Yeah. Well, oh, can you hear me? I cut it out there for a second.
So listen, I'm telling you what, like if you guys, any of you guys have kids, my God, they'll hurt your feelings left and right. Like you just get, I think like when you start having kids, you really get over it. You're like, oh my God. Kids are brutal sometimes.
So with the first initial call I had with this lady, I followed most of the steps, or I thought I followed, or no, I think I followed all of the steps. I just thought, like you said, I don't think it was motivation, but it wasn't true motivation, because she said the reason why they just want to get rid of it because they're having a hard time because their husband has cancer. Yeah. So I thought I had all the stuff, and then I don't know. So like I said before, the last offer, I said let's meet in the middle, and it's 260. She texted me this morning saying I talked to my husband, it's 280, and I was like, that's not going to work.
It's okay. So Nicole, like either you put them in a follow-up, you decide. So you got to be careful with follow-up. Some people like, if you ever had someone like, so I had to get a quote on a window repair on one of my properties. And I had a guy's like, I go, I got to think about it. I did just like what everybody else does. And then the guy goes, I go, let me think about it a few days. He called me that night. He called me that morning, and he called me in the middle of the day. At the end of the day, I got so annoyed, I just blocked him. So like, you don't want to be that annoying person. So you got to decide, do I need to give him 2 weeks? So typically it's 7 days, 2 weeks, or 30 days when you follow up people. The only thing that's going to change is time on them. And all you can do is be respectful and then offer them some guidance. And if one day they change your mind, listen, my heart breaks for anybody who has cancer, but cancer alone is not the single motivating factor. You got to find out what the family truly wants. And then until you get to that core of it, like that's a personal thing. So the fact that they told you that is kind of big, because I wouldn't tell a stranger that, even like I spent hours with you. Like it's
I even told at the phone call, I was like, if you don't mind, you and your husband are in my thoughts and prayers, if that's okay. And she's like, yeah.
There you go. But listen, the worst thing you can do, Nicole, is put it under contract for the worst price, because you have zero shot at making money and you'll run around with your head cut off. Guys, I've done this before. There's people on the stream that have done it. In this current market, you got to get the price right, because we have a falling market. So what you can do is, as an incentive, as time goes on, these prices are not going to go up. Your offer's only going to go down. And I kind of let people know that nicely, and they're going to see it. And you know who's going to feed them the bad news, right? Who? The media. Just let the media. They do it all day long. There's 24-hour news networks. And I tell you, if you guys see it, like real estate's getting more negative every month. I'm telling you, by December, December and January, it's going to be scary how negative the news is. So you guys know how the news works. It's like whatever's on their agenda. But like, I like when they spin the media thing, because it gets people emotional. And we're always looking for people to emotionally sell their house. So you're on par with it. Just build up your memory muscle to understand you can't get hurt doing cold calling. Guys, no one's going to hurt. And honestly, you have to do it in the beginning. And if you're successful at it, then you can teach other people to do it under you. The worst thing you can do is go to one of these pep rally seminars and say, you got a cold call, hire 4 people to do it, and go get the results. I promise you 10 grand is going to go out of your bank account in less than 30 days, and you'll have nothing to show for it. So you've got to walk the walk a little bit to be able to teach people how to do it. Unfortunately, there's a million people out there that will tell you for a fee, I'll show you how to do it.
So yeah,
it's crazy. So I would put them on like I would probably wait 2 weeks, because they're going to need a week's not going to be enough time. And as the news gets more negative, and I would definitely call them, because they're talking about raising interest rates 2 more times, guys. Do you know how much the value of a piece of real estate goes down every time they do these 75 basis points? It's unimaginable, the numbers so that means people can afford less on a mortgage, which means these higher homes have less and less value. Plus the home needs repairs. So I would set them for 2 weeks, just a real nice call. And then you decide if you want to call them another 2 weeks after that or 30 days after that. But the thing is, if you touch enough of these FSBOs, if you called 300 people, I'm telling you, 300 is more of the number on the FSBO. You're going to find 2 or 3 people that will work with you, and eventually one will cave, period. And that's all you're doing in wholesaling. But so many people, you think you're going to get 290 deals out of 300. And I don't know why people expect this. It doesn't work that way. This is a business and you have to work it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I want you to do. So keep going. So you've been on this live before. So like, keep doing it. Let me block the spammers here because that's crazy.
Sorry about the background noise.
No, it's okay. But like you're doing it, just keep going. So I just want you to progress faster now, because now that you know that, okay, I can do cold call and I'm not going to die. And then now I know when they call me with the numbers, you were so surprised you got to that point. The price sounds so discounted and it sounded like it had the right motivation. Not every one of them works out. It's okay. You just keep.
The price I said was spot on, but then she's like, no. And so I panicked and I was like, let's meet in the middle. And
So like, I will tell you this, being a wholesaler, especially in the beginning, it's like an emotional roller coaster. And a lot of you want to jump off of it when it's going straight down. And then some of you, I'm telling you, it's an addiction you're never going to get rid of. So I'm like an adrenaline junkie. I love this stuff. So instead of me going to a bar or something like that, I'd rather do a real estate deal because I like extreme rides. My back doesn't like it. I like extreme fishing, hunting trips. I like to connect anything with nature, but like, that's how I get it. But to me, chasing real estate simulates like in the wild hunting for, I just love it, man. It's so fun. And then like everybody could do it. It doesn't matter what your physical limitations are. It's like, what are you limited up here? So you are making progress. So just keep pushing forward. You'll get it. I'm telling you, just keep doing it.
A couple more questions.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
So the first one or the second one is, so with code violations, do we just call the house? Like because I look up the address in True People Search or Redfin or whatever.
Yeah.
I look at the address and see the house, and it looks like it's like still livable and people living in, and then it kind of makes me a little bit like I don't want to say uncomfortable, but weary, because I'm like, well, I don't want to like.
What are you worried about?
I don't know. Do I talk to the tenants or do I talk?
So you're overthinking it. Number one. Okay.
Oh.
Pick up the phone and just make a call. Like the truth of it, if you're ever doubt of calling somebody, this isn't just real estate, and you're worried, just call them. Just get it over with. I had to make 3 very uncomfortable calls today. I didn't want to, like, you ever go, I don't want to do it. And I was like, I kept thinking about it. The anxiety bills. Like, oh, I'm just going to call.
Okay.
And it was so much easier than I ever thought it was. And you got to do the same. Stop obsessing like, oh my God, how are they going to view? They're not going to hurt you. The worst they're going to do is hang up on you. So if you want to take it a step further, you can find out if they are the owner of the property, meaning if their mailing address matches the property or it's separate, and that will determine if they're living there or not. So it's a completely different conversation if it's a rental property as opposed to their personal house. But either way, it's an opportunity to buy discounted property.
Okay. Or would sticky notes work best? Because all I got with the code violations is the address, and like it says public nuisance or whatever, or something.
I mean, it's a personal choice. So you don't want to go after every code violation. I look for high grass, anything that is negative about the house. I don't look for people running businesses out of there or old parked cars, but like anything deferred maintenance. My favorite one is a missing mail receptacle. That's like that's a United States postal violation, and it is a city and county ordinance violation. You have to have a mailbox. Okay. I feel like the old Seinfeld episodes, like, and you don't want to like eat the mail. It's like get the mail. You don't have a choice. You got to get the mail, just like the electric on your house. Do you know the utility services hooked up to most of our houses? They are non-optional. You can't ask them to unhook it. You are getting charged one way or the other. I've been in this argument before, like crazy stuff. But look for the stuff that's going to be of the violations. And if you want to do the sticky notes, like whatever you do, some people do it locally, some do it virtually. So it just the easier it is for you, the better your results are going to be.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to I know people are waiting. I don't want to take up much more time. But the last question is, so the FSBOs, especially in my home state, Washington, there's a lot of, how do you say that word? Sorry, I can't pronounce it right. Rural cities, very small cities. So I was wondering, the deals or that meet the criteria for us on Zillow for FSBO. But if it's in a small ass town where it's barely by anything, excuse my language, is that even worth trying to call? Because I don't think
if you can find a buyer, but you're going to have less of a target audience. So unless you have like personal information, or unless it's like crazy motivation, or they go, hey, give me $100 and like you can take over the house and pay me later, then if it's local, sure, because you can get people from out of town to like go there. But if I'm doing virtually and like I tell people, if you're doing a virtual market, like make sure you have a population of at least 50,000 people or more, because it's
virtual. Because remember, I don't have a car.
yeah. So I would stay away from it because
Okay,
you probably get a deal. The problem is, can you sell it?
561 people in one town. That was it.
So it better be like a really good, desirable property and nothing else for sale in there. So, but I got to tell you, though, in those small towns, I've literally had properties gifted to me. Like, just take it. We don't want it anymore. I'm like, seriously? They're like, yeah. I go, I got to give you something. I bought somebody dinner once. I remember I took Zach when he was really young with me. And he's like, I don't understand this. I'm like, you're not going to understand it. And then 3 years later, he was like a master at like doing this business. So I would stay away from it. I think it'd be a waste of time for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
and I'll
no
just
problem.
that lady back and tell her.
Just you got to just keep plugging on. This is how the game works. So okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, I'll see you. Okay, Chris, you there? Chris, just unmute your microphone there.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, man. I just I saw you patiently waiting. I'm just trying to pick a way through, man. What can I help you out with, man? What's going on?
Yeah, I got a few things, but I'll go quick. Well, first of all, thanks for your dedication, military. I was in the Marine Corps, and I helped run the Marine Corps League in Orlando. And
yeah.
So, anyways,
I just think it's like overlooking, like right here. I know Pete's been on my channel quite a bit. Dude, 38 years. The guy's retiring in 6 months. It's like amazing. So you guys know, listen, I think we spend too much time fighting in this country. Like you cannot argue about the military because I promise you, like you guys have no idea how much it does for you. So I truly do. Like, I mean it. So my dad served in the military. My grandfathers both served in the military. And I feel like an idiot for that. Like, I just didn't have guidance when I was like a kid. I would have been perfect. Probably 2 to 5 years. I think it's like, and you know, there's countries where like it's like an honor and a duty, and like you're required to serve in the. I think it would do a lot of our young youth. It just like that's a very vulnerable time in your life, and it's like when you can get discipline and understand it, it's like, and it opens up to all other. I wish I did it. It would have fixed. I think it would have fixed me out. Like I was just a little too rebellious when I was young, and long story. But I appreciate your service, and.
Thanks.
It is one of my regrets, so I try to pay it back every moment I possibly humanly can. So how can I help you out, man?
And I'm not complaining, but the driving for dollars, I've done about 20 hours or so of it.
Okay.
And I seem like I'm doing the wrong neighborhoods or something. I'm not getting much. So is there a good requirement? Is it like below average?
So which
median homes?
What state are you in? I mean, you don't have to carry your exact market, but like, where are you in the country?
No, I'm Central Florida. Like I said, I run the Orlando
Marine Corps League. Just up the street from me.
Orlando and Claremont.
So I like to look at median or below average price homes, because why do we want to look at that? Because they have the biggest market.
Right.
Okay. And then you're in a rapidly depreciating market. And if you get in those high-end homes, a lot of times you can be sitting on them. Like they just don't move as fast as the smaller one. So like right now I'm flipping a lot of the average, even well below, and dude, they're moving like hotcakes. The minute I look at a property like 500,000-600,000, I'm getting 50, 60, 70 leads being sent to me by realtors, and they can't move them. So if they can't move them, how am I going to move them? I have to have a massive price discount. And even then I got to get people over it. And so you got to look at the average price like you're starting out, because the reality is, Chris, when you drive through nice neighborhoods, if there's an HOA,
right,
if the people, they're going to take care of it for them. So I would look for neighborhoods without HOAs, without gated communities. And if you're struggling in the wrong area, first of all, just try some new paths. How long have you been in Central Florida for?
Since 98.
Okay. So you know the layout of the land there. So
yeah.
What another little trick is, you can go look on with these satellite photos between your property appraisers and PropStream and Zillow and all this stuff, is you can look at neighbors. I like to look at like compact houses packed together that aren't connected.
Okay.
And I look for like some brown grass in between there, some landscaping, and that will usually point you in the right direction because they're going to be on the fringe of the nice neighborhoods. And those houses, I mean, it's standing room only. So a lot of times when you get really good at wholesaling, you can find transitional neighborhoods, and that's where you can do some serious, because then you can start going, okay, well, these houses are a little bit bigger, but nobody's like buying it. I'm going to go ahead and take one shot at it. And you kind of go from there. And that's what I love to do about it. But sometimes, listen, if I drive in the neighborhood I live, I won't find one thing. It's impossible.
Right.
But I get 5-6 miles out. Like it's me and Zach went out and just every now and then we just hop in a car and me and him do driving for dollars just to test our markets out. I think we got 300 leads in 2 hours. And
Wow.
I'm talking about like high quality. We were exhausted by the end, but we did, number one, to shoot a video, number two, to give my staff leads, and three, just to show you what we're looking for and how it works. So actually, I think he's releasing it in the next week or two. We're going to do a lot of editing with it stuff, but it's like driving for dollars is not, but you do have to drive the right neighborhoods. If every house is perfect,
Right.
get out of the neighborhood, you're in the wrong area. Like it's just,
Okay.
that's how it goes.
Makes sense. And then you may run into the same thing I am, but I'm not sure because yourself and Zach a lot will talk about the water shutoff lists.
Yeah.
But I know here in a lot of times we're getting a lot of the snowbirds.
Yeah.
So, they might have shut the water off, but they're snowbirds. So I don't know.
Well, as I said, water shutoffs is not a guarantee.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way. It's something you ask for. If you get it, great in your market. If not, like it's honestly, it's just one of those deals where like where there's smoke, there's fire. But like sometimes people are just got a little smoke going on and there's no fire. So like, remember, lists are raw. They're never any list you get. If you guys think you're going to get like 1,000 people on a list and every one of them has a guaranteed problem, you're in for a rude awakening. So it's just remember each utility, they're a little bit different how they handle that stuff. Like we have one county, it's so screwed up with the water. So we have one tiny little city that runs, ready for this. They run the electric and they run the water.
Oh, wow.
I have rental properties there. Just to turn on electric on one of my properties, it's $500 cash deposit. They won't take anything else. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then if your tenant doesn't pay the bill, they put a lien on the property. So like you constantly, and renters, they can barely afford to move into it. And then you have to make sure you keep a deposit because if they run up the bill, you're stuck with it. And as opposed to FP&L, we don't have that problem. So like you'll get to know your local utility departments after a while. So figure out how they deal with snowbirds. Some of them tag them differently. And it's like, but
okay.
It's just like the tax delinquency list. There's about 30% of that list where rich people use it just to finance their property tax.
Right.
Hell, I've done it too. Like why? Okay. I'll give it's a 3% penalty, 15 grand. Okay. I'll pay it later. Like we do it on our investment properties, our commercial properties. And so I had to learn how to sort the list because I used to call on everyone. I'm like, man, you're wasting a third of your time by doing that. And understanding, I just look for the houses with the average median prices that were 2 years or more behind on their taxes. And those are the rules I established on the tax delinquency list. So every list you have, you want to set parameters according to your market and go, okay, I know this doesn't work, so I'm going to adjust the filter. The problem is 3,500 plus counties across the country. I would be going 24 hours a day, probably for the next 50 years, just to catch you all up on 3,500 counties. And that's, so you guys got to kind of do that diligence part. But like, you got to understand, a lot of counties, you can't even get that list. So if it's a private company, you can't get it.
I got you. Okay.
What else you got?
Last thing. I don't know. It was probably 3 months ago. You and Zach on your videos a few times, you talked about when the market changed, it was going to be the best time for you guys. Yeah. And so why do you think that is? You guys never really explained why. You just kind of said, well, we got cash on hand. And
so everybody's different. Everybody's in a different situation. So you have to find out what season you are in life. Okay. Yeah. I'm in a super fun time in my life. I'm older. My kids I'm approaching empty nester here, and I got a bunch of cash. Like I generate cash. Like I don't have a problem generating cash, and I don't generate cash by coaching. Okay. This
Right.
is the difference between me, guys. I don't generate cash by coaching. You know, most of the gurus, these wild down payments, everything they do, they're all from you guys. They
Yeah.
make millions of dollars on coaching. So it's easy to buy property sight unseen, blah, blah, blah. I'm a little bit different. Okay. So now when opportunities come up, I can work with people. I have people I work with on this stream, and my long-term goal is connect with people just like you to get you trained, to help you make money, to help you free your life. And then you have a bigger opportunity comes up and go, I'd really like to bring Rick in on it. You know how many people say, Rick, I just want to send you 10 grand. You're a good guy. Like, I don't want your money.
Right.
I don't operate that way. Here's what I want. If you find an insane deal and you can't figure out how to wrap your head and put it together, and it falls under the motivation factors of what we teach,
Right.
reach out to me. We'll do it. And now I have the opportunity of multiple deals. I'm doing them like all over the country, and deals that I would have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to even have access, because everybody knows somebody. Okay. I got a 50 unit here, a 25 unit here. I'm going to shoot a ton of videos for you guys and show you this stuff. And to me, when the market comes down, now they're all making the decisions like, okay, I need to move on. I'm finding very, very tired landlords. I'm finding people like feel like they can't go any further with this property, or it needs a ton of repairs. So when markets change, decisions are made. Okay.
Right.
In an economy where it's just been shooting up, and then everything that happened, the pandemic is, do you know, right before the pandemic, all this was going to happen anyways. I'm just going to let you all know. We were going to go into this regardless. Okay. The pandemic fueled the politicians to just throw so much money in the economy. It wasn't just the United States, it was all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are trying to figure out how to get returns on everything. And this causes chaos. And whenever you have chaos, panic ensues. What happens when people panic? Emotions get involved. Have you ever really made a decision based purely on emotions? Tell me the outcome. It usually doesn't work out well for you in the long run.
Right.
And this is what's going to happen in the market. When the mob says, oh my God, real estate's in trouble, you better get rid of the house now, I'm scared to death. That's when people like me go, well, I'll buy it, but here's my conditions to buy it.
Right.
And so you write the rules. The last 5 years, it's been painful. Honestly, I was really bothered the way the market. Now, I made a ton of money doing it, but I would buy a property 80, 85 cents on the dollar, and then I'd sell it for 100. I would jack it up to 100% and usually throw another 10 to 15% on it. So
Right.
we've been playing pseudo realtors for 5 years. To me,
Right.
it's not as fun. This market, people are going to make decisions. All these FSBOs I taught you on that first list today, they're all every day. You know what happens every day? The days on market ticks up more and more. Every
Right.
30 days are like they just get, so they keep talking, and every conversation they have is going to get a little bit more desperate. So what
Right.
I'm saying is this market is, we've been on such a cruise control for 11 years, guys, not 5 years, 11 years, that a lot of the market has not seen this type of change, and you're going to see panic. And when you see
Right.
panic, emotional decisions are made. And when people go solely off their emotions, the truth of the human nature is you usually make a grave mistake. Now, it's
Right.
not my job to tell you if you need to sell or not. My job is just to provide the opportunity to it. So that's how I view the market. Now, that being said, understanding you can't time wholesaling. If you just get started, you'll do fine. I've made a ton of money in the highest part of the market. I've made a ton of money in the lowest part of the market. So the key is just to get started. So I'm in later part of my wholesaling career, whereas like I can enjoy and just buy stuff. I can pay realtors. Here's this key thing, guys. I still do wholesaling. I run an entire 7-figure business on it, but I can go out and find any piece of distressed asset I want if the price is right, because I hold the cash. And if you decide to do it with me, then I'll get it done. But there's going to be a fee for doing this for me. I will solve your problem, but there's going to be a fee. What happens is when there's more people selling, there's more people buying, you can dictate a lot of things. So creative financing is going to explode. I mean,
Right.
It's already kicked in, but in 2023, it's going to be phenomenal. Guys, you realize we're only in like month 6 of a market that's going downwards, and they truly haven't even defined it a buyer's market yet. We are deep into a buyer's market. So So we got another pretty much guaranteed 2 rate increases.
Right.
We're going to approach 9% on mortgages. How many people can buy a $500,000 to $700,000, $800,000 house on a 9% mortgage? It's going to be hard.
Right.
So what that is every time the rates go up, real estate's going to be discounted more and more. And then more people, after a while, everybody who has their property on the market, they now have to compete. How do you compete with a realtor when your house is on the market? There's only one way. You got to lower your price.
Right.
And if everyone keeps lowering their prices, comps go lower, and eventually people panic and like, okay, here we go. It was so bad in 2010, 11. I mean, it was, I could buy a house from my neighbors, my friends. Guys, I'm not making this up. It was so bad. And the only mistake I made is I didn't think bigger. I should have bought everything and I should have kept it. I was buying houses in Port St. Lucie for 30 to 40 grand that were over $200,000 9 months before. That's how bad it was. But you had to have cash. And when I was assigning deals, I was making $2,000 and $3,000. But I do 10 houses a month. It wasn't a problem. It was a lot of work. So I worked my butt off, but I learned a lot with it. So your opportunities are only going to get better each month, Chris. But I'm here to tell you, you got to spend more time with cash buyers and find out what they want. And if you guys are I got nervous when the market was spinning because I was a little bit younger and like nobody ever experienced anything like that. And there was no rules. So we didn't know, like people like property's going to go to zero. I go, well, it can't go to zero. But in Port St. Lucie, we dropped 60%. And all the data I ever saw said that's an impossibility. Well, it happened. And then remember, I had 26 homes I owned with renters in them that stopped paying me. I had mortgages on them. I had a real shit show going on, man. Like it was crazy. I'm just like, so like when you feel, if you ever felt like, oh my God, this thing's spinning out of control. Like you ever sat there and like you start eating some ice cream or something, like you just like, you go, oh, what the heck? Let me just keep eating. And it's like, what's the point now? You just like, you get emotionally invested and you start doing stuff you're not supposed to do. The same thing happens in real estate. And then when you get relationships with married people and like houses, they get nervous when houses go down. Do an experiment, guys. Go out to Home Depot tonight or tomorrow and look at the foot traffic there. It is very, very light. People are not rehabbing houses. People feel less secure. And a big part of the United States places their self-worth on real estate. You know why that is?
No.
Because people's greatest asset is usually their own home.
True.
And honestly, my goal is to teach every one of you, you want to get out of that stuff. Always have a home. I don't care how you do it, rent it, your home's it, but your home should not be your retirement investment. You're not thinking big enough if you do that. You need to go buy investment properties to pay for your home and do it that way. So most Americans, 95% rely on their house as their net worth. So when that net worth goes down, vacations start cut short. We're going to cut back on this. We're not going to paint the house this year. And then that's where the opportunities lie in. So does it make sense?
Makes sense.
So I think December, January is going to be like the dinner bell is going to ring there. It's like, because what happens Christmas? You got to buy a lot of gifts. Groceries are crazy. Guys, I went to the grocery. Now I don't go to the grocery store often, but I wanted to get something. My wife goes, you're going to be in sticker shock. I haven't been there in like 6 months. I was in shock. I could not believe how much eggs and like creamer cost. And I'm just like a regular guy. And it's not that I can't afford it. I just like, everything seems like 3 to 4 times the price. And if I'm thinking like that, what do you think the rest of the Americans are thinking? Actually, it's all over the world. I saw a report the other day at like people up in Boston and like Maine, the cost of, I don't know if it was like LP gas or what it was. They said it's like $7 a gallon. And the average house, they need 800 gallons to get through season. So it costs like $5,600 to heat your house in the winter. And these are people on fixed budgets that are retired. I mean, guys, motivation's going to get insane here. So I'm not familiar with like the Northeast, but like you guys, the cost of energy and fuels are ridiculous. Right. And guys, when all this stuff comes, it's every month it's compounding and people are making cuts. Eventually you just run out of cuts, you run out of money. So what do? You sell your house. And that's what's going to happen here. And I'm telling you guys, these decisions are going to be made all across the board. So not that I'm excited. I don't want to see anyone suffer, but I have to go through the same thing. So I want you guys to use wholesaling to carve your future. I think right now is amazing. I think 2023, boy, if you want to buy and hold some, my God, 2023 could be insane. But if you need to dig your hole out and you just need to get your rent paid, 2023 will be amazing too. And so use this, guys. It doesn't matter when you start. The key is just get started. I've made it when it's high. I've made it when the market's low. Whenever there's change, that's when the opportunity starts. The money's being made now of the people making decisions to market and chase down motivated sellers. So,
Right. All right, Rick.
Okay,
Thanks.
man. We'll talk again, buddy. I appreciate it.
Take
Okay.
care.
Okay. I'm on the run technology pad here. So while I am at it, who did I put up here? Oh, now I feel bad. No. Dan's on there with the Marines. Boy, you guys, you Marines are tough people. I never want to fight a Marine because you guys scare me. Like and I don't want to fight anybody to a point, but if someone says Marine, I'd probably be like, okay, you're a Marine. There's probably not much I can do to scare you. So that's awesome. 13 years, 7 to go. And it's been a wild ride. So I really commend anybody that can do it. I think it's just amazing. So, and I don't think we talk about it enough. And I don't think we should just sit here and take like 4th of July and Veterans Day just to do it. Like it just should be an everyday thing. So I really would like to get like a little sticker badge for people in the military. I think it's kind of cool. So, okay, let's keep the show on the road and moving here. What's up, Justin? I see your name all the time. I think you've talked to my son. I don't think.
Yeah, I talked to him like a month ago.
Now you got the old man on here. What's going on?
Good to finally meet you, Rick.
How you doing, man?
I just actually was talking to a seller before. She wants to sell her house, but when I look at PropStream, the mortgage payment is way more than the house is even worth. And I'm just wondering if there's a deal even to be made if the mortgage is.
Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. So you're talking about the mortgage balance, not the mortgage payment.
Yes,
right?
that's what I meant. The mortgage balance.
So what's the ARV, the estimate on the house?
It's about like 350.
Okay, and what does she owe? What's the outstanding mortgage?
She does not know the exact amount, so I told her to get back to me when if she could figure that out. But PropStream is showing it's 573, which is a lot, way too much.
So yeah, you don't write off everybody. So if you want to get in the weeds, you can go in your how long ago did she buy it? Do you know? It should tell you right there.
2019 for 140, all cash.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, the seller's got to kind of tell you. Like, I always rely on the seller to tell me the information, because if they don't know their mortgage, they don't know the payment, and they don't know if they're behind, it's really hard to do deals with people like that, because you never quite get the truth. So I always rely on the seller to give me, it just makes your life easier. Motivated sellers try to give you everything you possibly can get. Now, if you want, you can easily go on the public records and you can reverse engineer the balance on the mortgage. It's a pain in the ass. I don't like to do it unless I have to, but it is a public document and you can do that. So you can look at the date that they recorded the mortgage, and you look at the terms. Sometimes they give you the terms on it. Depends on how they record it. But she doesn't know how much she owes on the property?
No, not at all. It's under an LLC, so it's with another partner, and she was thinking about buying him out, and then I guess selling the property by herself. Here's what I would do is now it's real messy. So I would have her get the details and get back to you and just use her as a follow-up. Like, you don't want to spend, guys, you don't want to spend hours working on stuff like this, because this is what wastes your time. If 95% of the people are going to kick you to the curb, focus on the ones that want to connect with you and give you information. Motivated sellers feed you information because they want help. Tire kickers waste your time. By the way, whenever someone goes like, my favorite is, I go, well, how much do you owe on the house? That's private information. I don't want to give that to you. I'm like, okay, I'll just look it up in public record. It's like, but it's when they start doing that, I know it's not going to work. So I would just have them get the information, get back to you. So not only do you have to overcome the mortgage, and remember, you're just looking at a quick snapshot in PropStream. It's not always accurate. Keep in mind, when people get home equity lines of credit, HELOCs, if I get a $500,000 line of credit, which I've got before, mostly on the commercial properties, I don't take out one dime and it'll show as a $500,000 loan.
Why do they do it? They protect their interest until they make sure that line of credit is closed out. So sometimes they're wrong or they're like a line of credit. So sometimes they don't make sense, but I would wait till they get you the information with like, don't spend a lot of energy on it.
Yeah, I'm not. That's what I told her. I told her she should get back to me tomorrow.
Yeah, the buying out of the partner is going to be your bigger issue than the mortgage.
I was a little confused about that. I was like, okay, that sounds like a headache, but if that's what you're going to do,
I mean,
all right, I can't stop you.
If this happens and the sun sets and the water comes up over here and he like, okay, well, let me know, or I'll reach back out to you in like a month or send you an email. So
yeah, that's what I told her. But if I can't do anything, it is what it is.
Okay, what else you got?
No, that was it. That was my main question.
Yeah, you got like, guys, what I'm trying to do is understand is like, don't spend energy like doing all this crazy research. You will drive yourself nuts. You will have to find people that have the most motivation that need to sell their house, and the tire kickers that want all this analysis. Let them go to the realtors, because here's what, the realtors aren't going to be solving their problems either right now. So in the last 4 or 5 years, the realtors solved everyone's problem because they didn't have to do anything because the market was so hot. Now the game's changed. And so I told you earlier on these lists, these realtors are, this is your opportunity. If you ever want to try to figure out how to network with a realtor, now is the time. Because once the market goes back to normal, and I don't know when that's going to be, I think we're in at least a year and a half here, minimum. And remember, it takes longer to recover from a market than it does to drop. So realtors are slow. They don't know what to do. All you do is train your realtors on, listen, if you ever come across a property that just doesn't fit the normal build, meaning it's like not picture perfect ready, it needs repairs, call me. I can make an offer. I can get it bought quickly with cash, and I'll pay you your full fees. And that's all you got to do. So it's like, do not spend energy. Do not, other than making another call or a text, I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. But
now when they call you back, and I like, so the ones that you go, I go, listen, if you ever get the mortgage balance or you ever cash your partner out, please give me a call back. Sometimes I don't even call those people back. Like it's,
yeah, she actually called me back, surprisingly. Like I was supposed to call her tomorrow. I set up a time and everything, and she called me back.
So guys, you are now in a market too. You need to pay attention when your sellers keep calling you back. Be aware that is a progressive motivation step. And so instead of you stalking them, they start stalking you. That means you're in a new wave real estate market. And that's what I'm so excited about. Can you imagine like people calling you to do this? Guys, the longer you wait, the more they're going to want to sell to you to a point. So you got to find people with motivation, the ones you can help now. And remember, Justin, when you find the ones that go, well, if you've set them up with the upfront agreement and they still kind of kick you to the table, just say, listen, well, they go, I want to wait a month or two. I'm like, okay, like, that's great. Will you be there? I go, I will be, but this offer won't be. Well, what do you mean? Exactly. I go, listen, I don't know if you've checked the news or anything. I don't get stuff, but like real estate's dropping at a rapid rate, and it looks like we're getting ready to go into some sort of recession. So like, I don't want any of this to happen, but I'm just telling you, I'm getting inundated with phone calls. So if you want to do a deal, great. If not, but like if you want to wait 2 months to do it, I'll come back and look at it. But the one thing I guarantee you, the price will not go up, and I guarantee it will go down. I'm just being honest with you. And like sometimes I use it. You guys have a motivation now because everybody knows properties are not, and in the last 7 years, all you had to do was wait and you could fix any problem in the real estate. Now the opposite's going to happen. So my favorite month to do wholesaling is December. You know why? Because everybody makes life decisions in December. Year of end resolutions, the holidays come around. I want to make a change. The market's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And then January and February is, keep in mind, no matter what happens with politics, data is going to dump real bad after the holidays. It always does, especially after a midterm. So it's going to be a brutal first quarter. Stocks, the dividends are going to be way down. The earnings are going to be way down because we're all spending less. And this is going to put pressure. And these companies lay off people. They're laying off people that own homes, guys. And this is where you guys are going to come in. So people, as bad as the stock market's reeled back about 25, 30%, dude, real estate's just getting started. Now, here's the good news is this will be a little blip on a chart. And you're going to go back, man, I remember when Rick told me to jump into this thing. So the thing is, Justin, you're young, just get started now. I've been doing it 20 years. Do you think I go, I'm stopping now, I'm starting now, just consistently do it, find deep discounted properties, find people with the most motivation, and go change your life. That's how you do it.
Yes,
So,
sir, Rick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that
Okay,
answers
bud.
all my questions.
Okay, man. I'll talk
All
to you
right,
again,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm gonna catch Romeo because I see him stuffing food in his mouth, man. What's up, man?
What's going on, Rick? How you doing?
I like to catch people off guard. It's fun, but I appreciate you waiting on there. I know you're waiting patiently, man.
No,
What can I help you out with?
So I just had a couple quick questions for you, and then I was wondering if we could run through a quick cold call role play, if you didn't mind. I'm not sure how much time you got, but
Yeah, I mean, let's what specifically, like, what stumps you on the cold call?
so nothing really stumps me. I just never done it before.
Okay.
I talked to Zach earlier in the week because I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. He said, because winter's coming, it's better to go like 50-50, like try to do as much as I can local now before winter comes, and then try to shift more virtually on that. So I just didn't know.
Yeah, I don't deal with freezing pipes and like snow, and I've been to Connecticut twice in my life, and it's cold there, man. I guess I go the wrong time of year every time, man. It's like,
it sucks up here.
So were you born in Connecticut, or?
Sadly, yeah.
No, it's phenomenal in the summer and the spring, and I hear about this, but I always wind up there in like January, February. But I'll be happy to do it. I give you full disclosure on this. I am not the cold call expert. Zach by far is. He's made a lot more calls in it, and I just give it to you for full disclosure. I understand how it works. I don't have the patience to sit down and call like 500 people.
Yeah.
But I grew up in just a different time. And I told Zach when we got in the business, we need cold calling. Like, I don't completely understand it. And that's how he got his master's degree. For 4 years, all he did was cold call. Like, he still to this day, he still cold calls.
Yeah.
But now he runs people that do it, but he's really good at it. So,
okay,
let's go away.
All right. Yeah. So the quick questions I had were, so for locally, when I call people locally, it's never good to like make an offer on the first call, right? I want to make it on the appointment, like when I go in person.
So I want to find out where their head is on the numbers on the property.
Okay.
And remember, I'm going to stay away from the trigger words: ask, offer.
Yep.
Traditional real estate words. So part of going through your MCTP, you understand that, right?
Say that one more time.
MCTP. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So what you need to do is jump over to freewholesaling.com.
Yeah.
And that's part of our acquisitions under qualifying. So the M stands for motivation.
Yeah. Sorry.
Condition, time frame, and price.
I got it.
So by walking through those, you should get an assessment.
Yeah.
And so here's a little trick I learned. When I'm going through the call and ask those questions, and like, people can be fake, man. So you understand the first 2 minutes, people are either brutally honest with you or they lie through their teeth. So you guys know most people lie. It's just this human nature because they want to impress you. So you have to lose your ego and just, when they get perfect, like, oh, it's got crown molding and a white fence, I'll let them go on 3-4 minutes. I go, hey, John, why are you even considering selling this property? It doesn't even make sense to me. And I just because I got to get to the motivation. I get it. You think it's perfect. So what's the issue here? And I'm really like, tell me your motivation or I have to move on, because I don't want to spend 10 minutes on the phone with you.
Yeah.
I have a business I got to run. I want to connect, but you can't connect people that aren't motivated. So once you get through that, if you don't hear any type of motivation, just hit them in the mouth. Why are you even considering selling it then? It sounds like a perfect property. Might as well just keep it. Well, my sister, and then you want to try to get them off the property and try to get them on that, because you're basically telling them, if you don't tell me something, I'm going to get off the phone with you. Okay. So that's a little bit of the takeaway. Then when you get into it, you got to figure out if there's motivation. And then you just try to build rapport. You try to go through some details of what the house needs. If you're skilled enough, if you can pull up your PropStream or your batch, whichever one you're working with, and you can kind of work some numbers right there. The one thing I do like about Prop and BatchStream is, if you have 5 minutes, and you can do it on an app, you can do it on your phone. I can't see the damn app because of my eyes, but you can kind of find out if they're telling the truth too. Like, you can figure out what their mortgage balance is and stuff like that. And once I know they're telling me the truth and stuff, I'll just hit them like this. I just say, listen, John, what do you think you guys need to get for this to get it done? And just something just like, what do you need? just a very cut low. So it's a subconscious questions. And then like, either they're going to go, what do you mean by that? Or they're going to like, well, we thought it over. We can't take less than like 290 grand. And then I'll go like this. How'd you come up with that number? And I just let them talk. The more they talk, the more information you're going to get to see if you can work with an offer with them. Okay. Now, if they say 290 and the property is only worth 150, I'm not giving them an offer. What's the point? Like, seriously. So, hey, listen, if something changes, it just sounds like you got this all figured out. If I'm within 10, 15%, I can easily close that gap. And it still can be a big number, especially in Connecticut. Like so what's your average median price over there?
I would have to look that up. I can't.
Okay. So, but understand, like, if the average median prices were like 300, so say their house was worth 350 and they were asking like 325. I'm like, oh, okay. If it doesn't need repairs, we might be able to work with it. Whatever number they throw out, that is my top number I would ever like. That is the most I would ever pay for a property. I use that as a starting point. I'm trying to gauge if it's worth going to see them. There's nothing worse, Romeo, than going out to someone's house that you have no shot at buying. Yeah. And if you've ever been to a friend's house, a family member's house, especially a friend's house, it's very rude to walk in the house and walk out 3 minutes later. It's like bad things can happen. And I can't tell you how many houses I sat there on the couch. I go, this is going to be the worst hour of my life, because they just want to tell you everything. And you have zero shot at buying the house because they want 100 grand more. You have to avoid that situation. Okay. That's what you want on the appointments. Because like now, if the house is motivated and it's run down and it's local and it's not like a blizzard outside, I probably go still look at it, especially in the beginning. But if they're like 200 grand apart, like, I can't do, I don't even know if my realtor could do that one. Yeah. And I always say, listen, how'd you come up with that price? And I just shut up. And I go, listen, I can appreciate you need that number, but I need to see what the house is, what the house can afford. And so some people get so far off of what they need personally. Like, I need to pay for my son's college. I need to get my daughter set up an apartment. So I need $280,000. I go, listen, I appreciate you need it, but we need to see what the house can afford. Yeah. So when you hear people talking about all the stuff they need, it has nothing to do with the house. And like, I wish I was a magic wizard. I can make it happen for people. But like, so when they get way out of line, I go, listen, I know you need all that stuff, but like, I don't think the house can afford it. And is there a deck? Did you add a pool? And they just start going on like that. But your main purpose is to sniff out their motivation, see if you're within a range that you can close down. Anywhere from 5 to 15% is doable. Once you get past that number, it's really hard. Now, some people are paying poker and like a little bit of a bluff, and that's where you got to have a little bit of a pullback. So I'd rather you make 2 or 3 calls and get them talked down a little bit, see if the motivations before you go out there and visit them. But I will tell you, most of the damage is always done in person, meaning if you get belly to people, it's much easier to connect with them because you can look in their eyes, you can see their gestures, you can look at the house. And honestly, when I go out to the house and they're like really beat up bad and they're asking a crazy price, it's actually pretty easy. Yeah. I'm like, you just kind of give them that look like, but guys, you got to understand, when people live in like really rough houses, they don't even see it anymore. Like, I have an entire wall open up in my house from a leak through the hurricane. I've become numb to it. Like, people walk in and go, what happened? I'm like, I'm waiting for a window. It's like, and so like I get numb to it. So I see people not. So sometimes you got to take them out and go, listen, I don't know how to tell you this with your house. So guys, I've been in a house with cockroaches, rats, everything. Like I've seen rats crawl over people's foot and they just kick them. I'm like, I'm in shock. And I'm telling you, people sometimes don't see the own mess in their house because that's all they're used to in life. So listen, guys, I grew up in like I didn't come from an affluent family. Like times were tight. So like, I kind of know how it is. Like 4 kids, we're all fighting just to get a meal. And like, it was just a different world back in the 70s, man. But it's like, people still live like that today. And actually, I would argue that the poverty level is worse in the United States now than it ever was before. Mm-hmm. Not that I want you buying it, but you'd be surprised. There's some nice houses with like a lot of rough stuff in there. So I know it's a long answer, but you want to avoid the situation where you sit in someone's living room and you have zero shot of buying the house. It's a helpless feeling because you just want to get up and leave. But like, if you are a decent human being, you would never do that. because it's rude and it's nasty, and like you will get a look and you won't like sleep that night. So I just want to avoid that. And then so if I'm even iffy, I'll go to the front door and go, listen, I just want to talk to you before we go in there. If you cannot make a decision today, like, and I was just like, I'm gonna, because then once you get in the door, you're stuck.
Yeah.
But if you're at the front door, you have the flag. Go, listen, I get it. It's just not going to work out. And sometimes, so if the house is really nice, Romeo, do the negotiations on the outside. If the house is really bad, do the negotiations on the inside of the house.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because when you go like this, I go, listen, I'm going to make you an offer, but I'm not sure I can handle this much longer. And I've done, when I have a really nice house, I go, let's go outside. I want to go find a noisy road. I want to do anything to distract them from the beauty of the house. And guys, we buy a lot of ugly houses. That's predominantly what we do. But every now and then I get a perfect house. They go, I just want it done. I'm like, okay, it's my favorite house in the world. So don't get stuck in the living room. Just think of that. Am I going to get stuck in the living room? Am I going to get stuck in the living room? But a lot of times if you guys are just starting out, the experience and the practice will make you better. I just don't want you stuck in a house that you have no shot in heck. So if you can't get within 10 to 15% of what they expect, even I wouldn't go until they reasonably accept that request on the phone. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No, that was basically it. I don't want to put you on the spot with the cold call thing.
I don't care, but like I'm usually pretty rough or I'm too nice on a cold call, and I really want it to be effective for you. So when Dax does Wednesday, that's when I'll leave a note here. But like, I'm not one of these guys. I don't sit here and try to preach to you guys of stuff. Like I don't walk the walk.
Yeah.
I can make cold calls, but like, I'm very impatient with it. Gotcha. I just want to and for that reason, that's why I brought my son on and eventually made him a partner in the company, because he's really good at it. And it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of discipline. And it's part of my ADHD. I just don't have the patience to sit on the phone. Sometimes I have to sit and make 10, 15 calls a day. And like, I run out of patience on those. And those are people like my partners, my employees and stuff like that. And I'm being honest with you, Romeo. Like, I'm not going to sit here and give you a skill set, but I could go through a mock cold call anytime you want to do it. But I think Zach's, boy, he's tough on you guys, man. I've heard him when he does it. And I'd rather you get that education from him. And that's why we team up together to split it up. So remember, and he goes out on Sunday nights, which is a great time to connect with him. I know it's a little bit later for us East Coast people, but I'm in bed sleeping. But Romeo, you're a young guy. You can connect with him at 10.
I got you. All right. Yeah, I can wait. I can wait for Zach. No problem.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, bud. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. See you.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Let me we're getting through a lot of people today. Trey, you there? Your mic's muted.
Hey, Rick. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Finally, great to talk to you. I've been nervous to get on the one-on-one, so.
No, why? I don't bite, guys. Listen, and by the way, if you want to do video or not, I don't pick people based on video. I try to pick people that, if you guys have talked to me before, I try to take the ones I haven't talked to before. So full disclosure, I know some of you guys are waiting. And then when I run out, I try to talk to everybody during the week. So where are you at and what can I help you out with today? And don't be nervous.
Okay, I won't. Going forward. So I'm in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
So I tried to post something in the Facebook thing, but I'm still waiting on approval. So I'll just ask you now.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of getting this this property under contract, but the seller, she wants 145 for it, and then she wants a 10% deposit.
Yeah. Say bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. So
10% is, listen, I deal with a lot of like high-end properties. Like the most I've ever heard really is like 5%.
Yeah.
And honestly, the norm is 1 to 3%. So keep in mind, how long you been doing wholesaling for?
Okay. So I spent a year learning about it. Okay. So I heard about it a year ago, but I didn't really get into it until I seen Zach's channel, and then I seen your channel. So then I just started watching you guys. So I'm say like a month now.
So let's back up on the seller. How did you come across the seller?
So I've been driving for dollars in my market, but I'm not going hard enough. So I was like, okay, so I could stop getting scared of cold calling. I tried Zillow.
Okay. Listen, no one's gonna like. What's the worst that's gonna happen to you on a cold call?
They say no, or
They hang up. They might even call you something nasty too. You okay with that?
yeah, I'm okay with that. A couple already hung up,
Yeah.
so
Sticks and stones can break your bones. But like names can't ever hurt you. Like it was true when you were a kid, and it's true now. So you have to decide what path you want to take, and you have to forge your path, and you have to stick to it. I've never ever told anybody on any of my lives or any of my videos that this is going to be a cakewalk. It's the easiest thing. I already told you, you're going into the fire. You almost have to treat it like a UFC fight. Like I'm going to, not only are sellers going to kick your teeth in, family's going to doubt you.
yeah.
Boyfriends and girlfriends are going to look at you like you lost your mind. Like
Already happened.
there will be an entire like coup. And when I started out, I had two, oh God, this is so embarrassing. Two interventions between family and friends sat down and he goes, I think you've lost your mind. You gave up your good corporate job to go do that. Why would you do that? Fast forward now, Rick, we always knew you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so funny. Guys, the first 7 years I did this, I was completely mocked. I used to sit at the table and family go, oh, he buys houses from little old ladies. Oh, that's what I do. Okay. So I'm just telling you, like you are going on an island and you got to be prepared for it. And the only thing you need is the self-assurance of like your own mind. So why is your why for doing wholesaling?
To break generational curses and to take care of my family.
So same as mine. Okay. So the reason me and Zach do business like we did, because I made a decision and I burned my bridges. Like I go, this is going to work out no matter what. I don't have any other options. And I went through the same challenges you're going through. Okay.
Yeah.
So once you set it and you have the fortitude, so you have your why, you have your belief. Now you got to have your conviction. Your conviction is that's when you stop negotiating with yourself. Like you just go, listen, this is what I'm doing. That's it. So form a plan and stick to it. Okay. Now let's go back to this seller. Okay.
Yes.
This seller you found driving for dollars. What's the motivating factor for it?
Well, I found her on Zillow. I have a couple driving for dollars that I have to call. So her motivation, she doesn't live in Maryland anymore.
Okay.
She said the house is vacant. That she just want to get rid of it. I asked her why didn't she get a realtor? She said it was a personal choice.
Okay. So, what inning is the house rough? Is it like need a lot of work? What's the story on the ARV on it?
So the roof is fine. She doesn't have any wood in there. It's all carpet.
Okay.
She said it's only cosmetic damages that needs to be done.
Okay.
As far as the ARV, I tried my best. I did it like 3 times, but I wasn't trying to be in my head, like you said.
Yeah, it's a number. And by the way, you don't pick it. It's just a range and you pick the lower side of it. So what number did that come up at?
It came to 124,475.
So 125 roughly.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you at with negotiations on the number with her?
So before giving her an offer, she already just said she wanted 145. I told her that I would go back to me and my partners to crunch numbers and get back to her.
Yeah. So you already know she's asking more than it's worth.
Yes.
The house is motivated, which is a great sign. This is what driving for dollars all is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This house is never selling for 145.
Yeah.
Okay?
I know.
So you're going to have to wait her out. So you're going to kill her with kindness. You're going to give her support, but simply ask her, go, listen, I ran the numbers. How did you come up with that 145? Just out of curiosity. Just shut up and let her talk.
Okay.
My neighbor told me, or my friend's a realtor, and let her talk. I'm like, have they taken a look at the house? Have you seen the condition of it lately? And I would just circle the wagons around this one. And that's it. You just talk to her every week or every other week. This house isn't going anywhere. It's not going to sell for 145. And would you agree? Do you think over the next month or two, by the end of this year, the prices are going to go up or go down on this house?
It's definitely going to go down.
Okay. So now it's a lower price point house, but listen, you can't make her sell. Stop, like on the lower price homes, like I don't obsess about the deposit because the deposit's deposit. The 10% is not your problem. Her number is the problem. Now, the thing is, you're not far off. I'd like to see you buy it like 100 or sub, but remember, it's still going to need repairs and everything else. I don't know how she's coming up with that number, but remember, you don't need to justify it. She does. So I would circle the wagons, and unless you think someone's going to her 145, that house is going to be sitting there in 2 months.
Yeah, because
so what you need to do is just go out and find other motivated sellers, and you just wait. And what happens is you start juggling like 15 balls, and every now one just drops, and they're like,
yeah,
okay, I go, listen, I've tried. You're right. I just need to get rid of it. What's the best offer you can give me? And then when they get to that, then you can come to an agreeable number. Don't attack the 10% because it's not an issue right now. Who cares?
okay.
I once had a seller, they go, you got to give me all the money up front. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's what she was saying about the deposit. She was like, I'm not talking about the EMD.
Okay. But here's the good news is no one's going to meet those terms ever.
Okay.
So unless she has an incredible, amazing house with this great, no one's going to do that. Okay. The norm in the market is 1% to 3%. 5% are for like real quality products, and 10% is reserved for like unique, like special properties. Okay. It makes no sense. Nobody wants to put that much money deposit. In the end, whenever somebody focuses on a deposit, I go, listen, I want to buy your house. Why are we talking about a deposit? And I just get them off of it right away.
Okay.
You're getting your money in 30 days anyway. So what's the deposit going to do? It doesn't even go to you. It sits in an escrow account. Now, some of them use it as a qualifier, but if you can talk through it, you should be fine. So I would just circle the wagon. She's not going anywhere. I would call her back and go, listen, I ran the numbers. How did you come up with 145? And just do it like sarcastically, like politely, and just see what she comes up with. She might tell you what her rationale is, and you're gonna have to nicely correct her. Go, well, listen, I kind of ran the numbers with my local realtors. They said even on a good day listed with a realtor, it's 125 when you fix it up. So we're kind of far apart. If it's not a good fit, I understand. I got some other houses to look at. Let me know if something changes. And then if she calls you back, it's a great time. If not, call her back in 2 weeks or 30 days. Guys, these follow-ups, they're just going to get better and better. So for the longest time, the longer you wait, the worse it got because they wanted more and more, and it just drive you nuts. So I think you're fine with what you're doing. So do not obsess about deposits. I walk over deposits. I laugh at them. I laugh at realtors' deposits. I want to buy the house. Why are we talking about a deposit? Like, what do you care about the deposit? Nobody keeps the deposit. Okay.
Yeah.
Deposit is a fraction of the house. Let's talk about selling the house. And that's where don't fight the 10% because I think the price is a bigger issue, but the house is motivated. Eventually she's going to sell it.
Okay.
So, and it's vacant, right?
Yes.
So hold on. I'm telling you, and just go find other motivated sellers. And just, as you said, you need to ramp up your game. And then you need to go all in and understand everyone's going to attack you. Everyone's going to create doubt. You've got to build this fortress around your head and go, listen, I know what I'm doing is right because 95% of the people have it wrong. And I don't want to be part of it. It doesn't mean you don't like or love your friends or your family. I'm just not going to operate like them. Like I'm in a different world. I'm in a protected bubble where there's nothing but prosperity and opportunity. And there's so much money. I don't know what to do with it. If you want to come along with the ride with me, let's do it. But I have people still just bitch and complain like, oh my God, I got to go into work. I got to make my $200 for the day. I'm like, but guys, I was there. I had to get a paycheck. I had mortgages. I had little kids. I was stressed. And once you can break that cycle, it's incredible what can happen. Okay. You guys, I pay myself once a year. That's it. I'm so far ahead. Like, what's the point? Like, why do I want the expense? I only pay myself to offset my tax liability. I pay myself like it's crazy. I hate it. It's like, wife goes, what are you going to do with the money you paid yourself last year? I go, oh, I didn't do anything with that yet. It's just like, I want you to have the same problems I did. Guys, I started out just like everybody on the stream. I'm just telling you, it just builds. If you can put 2 years in the fire in wholesaling, you could do anything you want in life. Some of the most wealthiest people in the world, I tell you, there's like amazing people. They started out as wholesalers, put in a 2 to 5 year grind, and they have $100 million businesses. And that's where I don't need 100 million. I've accepted, but like we all want to do more. And the more I can help out, I was so thankful to help out like a charity that like I really believe in today. But like, I don't go online and go, I gave this to a charity. Why? Because I lose my ego.
Yeah.
Why announce it to the world? The only person needs to know is me, my family, and the man upstairs or the woman upstairs, whoever it is. these self-fulfilling like commercials, like I helped this homeless person out. I give him $300 cash, or I paid off someone's layaway bill. I'm like,
I see right through that.
why don't you just do it? Just do it. Just be a good person. Like, we've got to stop taking credit for stuff. If you want to help people out, just help them out like nobody's watching. And that's because if you do it every year the same way, then like, I believe it comes back tenfold. But the minute you turn it into a shameless person, and I don't want to stop. Like, if you're going to do it and film it, I guess I'll take that over not doing it. So like, I'm not knocking it, but like it's become like a viral trend. And it's very embarrassing when we do it to like people working hard and you film them. Though they'll still take the $1,000 if you want to give it to them, but like, stop making a mockery of it, man. Like, it's just stop getting credit. Like, I always tell people, you need credit, like swipe it there. I don't need credit. That's why I don't flip students. That's why, guys, I am bypassing millions of dollars from you for what I'm doing. I want you guys to understand that. I could easily, I'm approached by so many companies like, Rick, we could make millions in coaching from your program. I'm like, you obviously don't understand what my channel is about. Like, it's not what I do. I'm in a much bigger movement, and I want to help out as many people as humanly possibly. And it starts with people just like you. Okay. So you're on the right path. Remember, you are trying to do what most people avoid at all costs. Work hard and get ahead and break that curse. I have come from, we just never had any money in our family. Like, it was really hard, but like, I had a happy childhood. Don't get me wrong. Money's not the sole thing, but I will tell you, money will solve a lot of the problems. So
yes, it will.
They'll give you different problems, and some of them you're not going to like, but you all have to go through the journey. I'm just telling you, wholesaling has completely freed me. You guys have seen what it's done with my son. Without me making that decision back in 2003, you guys wouldn't have me and Zach online here. And to be honest with you, back in 2013, 14, I got so frustrated with the wholesaling coaching community because, by the way, it's just one giant like get together, like boys club, girls club now. And if you don't work with them and they don't let you make money off them, you're shunned to the masses. And I don't care. I want that. Okay. If I didn't do that, you wouldn't have me and Zach and what we do. And this is the way I think. And I'm very free-minded and I don't care. And this is what I tell people. So if you want to join this movement, I'm just telling you, I know what it's like being in your shoes. You guys think of like, oh, he's 20 years. He's so rich. He doesn't trust me. I know the fight. I just went through my son 5 years ago. I let him go through the fight. I know what it takes. It's simple, clear-cut instructions, and your intelligence helps, but honestly, it hurts you more than it helps you. If you just do the steps and commit to it, it's insane what you can do in this business. You are no different than me. Anybody on this live, you are no different than me. You are no different, my son. I taught a 17-year-old how to make $100,000 while he was in high school.
Amazing.
And he's like brilliant smart, and I'm not. So he took the smarts from his mother, which is great. And all I did was put my nose down. Do you know to this date, I have people that sit down and go, I don't understand how you got where you are. You weren't very smart in high school. I'm like, you're right. You're right. But I have a will that you can't even figure out what I'm doing. And you're never going to get near what I do because you're not open-minded enough. So if you need to open your mind or jaw anything, as I said, guys, invest. If you're going to make an investment in yourself, obviously you don't have to do it with me and Zach, is go find people to open your, Tony Robbins is one of the most amazing human beings to open your mind. Like, you do not have to accept this. Like, if you think your life's in a rut or you're stuck, it's just your self-limiting beliefs. You've got to fix them. Okay. He has an event called UPW. It's it's like $500 to $700. It's well worth it if it's in your town. If you can go in person, it's well worth it. But if not, go pick up his book. You can go to Z Library or whatever. You can download all these books for free, guys. Did you know that? Like, all the books, all the wealth you want. But I've learned this: reading 1,000 books does not make you a better wholesaler. It's quite the contrary. The person who will take the most action and is fearless is going to do the best in this business. So, anything else?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, go get it. I'm going to talk to you again in the future. So
yes, you will.
Okay, awesome. Okay, see you, Trey. So guys, that is it. Just do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button before you hang up. Make sure you're subscribed to us. Check me out on my YouTube channel. I will be on Monday night at 8 p.m. Zach will be on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be traveling after that, but we'll fill you in on our schedule. So we like to have fun while we do stuff. So we'll share some really cool stuff. And guys, check out my YouTube channel, Rick Ginn. Check out Zach's. We have some really unique videos coming up. I've recorded so much for you guys. We're getting ready to release, and it's going to be awesome. Guys, go out there, get deals, find motivated sellers, and take advantage of what God gave you. Take your God-given talent, whatever it is. If you don't know what it is, ask your wife, ask your significant other, your kids, and use it, because there's only one of you. You don't need to duplicate anyone else. Your spot is taken. Go out there and get it.